So a story.
Let it come, let it go.
So when we last saw Joseph, Pharaoh had just lifted him up. He had saved up all the grain that he could for the famines. The famine had hit. And it hit hard, and he opened the doors to the granaries, to everyone in Egypt, and then to the world. And at this time, we come to the brothers who had sold him into slavery. Where now in Israel, the famine has hit there. They're all starving, standing around whining to one another about what are we going to do. And Jacob looks at his sons and says, I've heard there's grain in Egypt. What are you doing standing around here? Go. Save one of the brothers. He wouldn't let Benjamin go, because Benjamin was his youngest, and he was afraid that harm would come to him. Having lost Joseph already, he kept him home. And the brothers made their way down to Egypt. And they get there, and Joseph sees them. Now, mind you, the last time they saw Joseph, he was just a young kid. Now, he's been living away from them for God knows how many years. He's older. He has assumed the Egyptian customs, the Egyptian garb, and they come, and he's not even speaking to them. But he can hear and understand what they are saying, and speaking to them through an interpreter. And they ask for food. Now, at this point, Joseph gets in his head to test his brothers, to see if they've changed in any way or form. And he looks at him and says, you're a bunch of spies. That's what you are. And they start clamoring back and forth. No. We're not spies. We're actually 10 of 12 brothers. But our youngest was left at home, and our brother Joseph is gone. He says, no, you are spies, and for that I'm going to put you in prison. The only way that I will let you out is if you go get your youngest brother and bring him back, that I might test whether your story is true. And he throws him into prison, and they're there for 3 days. And after 3 days he comes, he says, I'm going to let you go back, but one of you has to stay here. Stay in prison. And he chooses Simeon. And he sends the boys back, and he fills their grain sacks. And he tells the stewards to put their money back in. And along the way, they stop. One of the brothers reaches into his grain sack to feed the donkeys and finds his money still there. And they begin to worry. And Reuben tells them, this is all happening because of what we did to Joseph. And they're scared because they don't know what God is doing. They get back to Israel, and they're talking to Jacob, and they recount the story. And they start putting their grain away, and as they open up the sacks, they find out all of their money has been returned, and now they are really scared. Because Joseph told them the only way that he let Simeon out and give them more grain was to bring back Benjamin. And Jacob was having none of it. He said, I've already lost one son. I am not letting you take Benjamin with you. So they're afraid. And they eat the grain. They enjoy their time. They forget about Simeon. Wonderful brothers, aren't they? They sell their one brother off into slavery, and now they're leaving the other one to rot in prison. Well, they sit comfortably eating, but the grain begins to disappear. There's no more left, and the famine is still on, and they have to go back. Jacob says, go and get more. And he said, the only way we can get more is if we take Benjamin. He wasn't happy. And Judah steps up. Now, understand, Jacob's name is Israel. His oldest son is Judah. This is important when you get further along in the story of Israel and Judah. But Judah says, you know what? Give him to me. Put him in my care. And if anything happens to him, you may take my son. So they send them down. They send them back to Egypt, and they get there, and the brothers show up, and they've got Benjamin with them, and Joseph sees Benjamin, and immediately goes to his stewards and says, prepare a feast, and bring them to my house. Well, the brothers hear this, and they begin to be scared again. This is because we got that money back. He thinks that we stole his money. We didn't pay for our grain the last time. Now, what Joseph doesn't know is that when Jacob, sent them down, he sent them with fruits and nuts, balm and honey, and double the money that they were sent with the first time, as a gift so that they would not be in prison and would send everyone back. But they're afraid. So when the stewards come to take them to the house of Joseph, they say, wait. We brought double the money, see? We paid. But somebody put it back in our sacks. And the steward says, we've already received your money. We have no idea. That must have been your God that put that back in your sack. And they bring them to Joseph. And Joseph sees his brother Benjamin. And he's so overwhelmed with emotion that he leaves. Goes to another room, composes himself after leaving, and comes back to talk to her. He is still talking through interpreters, but he can hear what's being said. And Reuben again recounts that they're being punished for what they did to Joseph. And Joseph's heart sinks. He is overwhelmed again, walks out, looks at his steward and says, feed them. Bring the feast, because Egyptians and Hebrews could not eat together. So he brings the feast to Joseph, to the brothers. They're there sitting and are amazed at what's brought out. And even more amazed when they see that every portion that's brought to Benjamin is 5 times that which is brought to everyone else. Which leads us to this morning.
To continue the story, we begin reading Genesis 44, verses 1 through 13. Then Joseph commanded the steward of his house, fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put each man's money in the top of the sack. Put my cup, the silver cup, in the top of the sack of the youngest with his money for the grain. And he did as Joseph told him. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away with their donkeys. When they had gone only a short distance from the city, Joseph said to his steward, go, follow after the men, and when you overtake them, say to them, why have you returned evil for good? Why have you stolen my silver cup? Is it not from this that my Lord drinks? Does he not indeed use it for divination? You have done wrong in doing this. When he overtook them, he repeated these words to them. They said to him, why does my Lord speak such words as these? Far be it from your servants that they should do such a thing. Look, the money that we found at the top of the sacks we brought back to you from the land of Canaan. Why then would we steal silver or gold from your Lord's house? Should it be found with any one of your servants, let him die. Moreover, the rest of us will become my Lord's slaves. He said, even so, in accordance with your words, let it be. He with whom it is found shall become my slave, but the rest of you shall go free. And each one quickly lowered his sack to the ground, and each opened his sack. He searched, beginning with the eldest and ending with the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. At this they tore their clothes, then each one loaded his donkey, and they returned to the city. Our second reading is from Matthew chapter 5, verses 38 through 48. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. But I say to you, do not resist an evildoer. But if anyone strikes you on the right cheek, turn the other also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your coat, give your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go also the 2nd mile. Give to everyone who begs from you, and do not refuse anyone who wants to borrow from you. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be children of your Father in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the righteous and on the unrighteous. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet only your brothers and sisters, what more are you doing than others? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Here ends our reading.
We're family, right? And all families get together and love one another. We're never nasty to one another. My brother never put hot sauce in the divot of my nose and woke me up. I never handcuffed him around a tree in the middle of winter. There's an interesting thing that happens, whether you're family or just in the real world, and that is this idea of revenge. We talk about it, we call it justice, right? An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But what's interesting is to watch how people do things. We're listening to the story of Joseph this morning, and he's finally risen to power. He has his brothers right where he wants them, right? Now, anybody in the room that would be a little upset with their brother and sister if they threw them in prison for a few decades, sold them off, took them away from everything that they've known and loved, and now he's got them right here. And he's toying with them like a cat would toy with a mouse. And they have no idea. They don't even know what's going on. Now that doesn't happen in today's world, does it? We get a little bit of power and we figure we're going to fix things. You ever notice how we talk about things when we're going to do something wrong? We find a way to make it look pretty and nice, right? We're going to fix how this works. Always loved that in churches. If somebody who's been wronged, and they finally get a little bit of power, and they decide, yeah, I know how Carrie was running things, but you realize that really wasn't very good. I know how it should be done. And then they go around and they talk about how bad a job Carrie did. Right? Oh, it's just awful. Now, that never gets back to Carrie, does it? Because I went and I told Liz, and Liz goes up and says, Carrie, watch your back. He's up to something. She doesn't feel devastated, does she? She did the best she could with what she had. She did the best she could with the knowledge and the talents that she had. Can we stop and think about that? You know, Joseph isn't thinking at this point, boy, I was really a rotten little snot when I talked about those dreams. I treated them horribly. No, right now he's sitting there going, I can get them back now. Now, for all of you who are single children, solitary children in the family, I'm sorry, you've never experienced this. Children are wonderful to one another. Families are wonderful to one another. Until, right? You save up all the dirt you can get. And then the time comes and it's, Dad, do you know what Brian did? Right? And you give them all the dirt. And of course, we are human, so if there's a space left, we fill it, right? So he may have done this much, but we're going to make it this much. And the truth be known, we didn't want justice to begin with. We wanted them to hurt as bad or worse than we did because we didn't get our way. Something happened that we didn't like. You have to be careful with this. Jesus is very clear about this. Family is a fickle thing. And whether it's blood or this, we always have to be cautious and stop and look and listen. And think about where the other person is at and why they may have done this or done that. I've always been amazed. The first church I walked into was very, very gracious. Because, being a young seminarian, I had the whole toolkit. I was going to fix them. Well, they had enough student pastors that they knew how to deal with that. But usually if you walk into a church and we go, okay, we're going to fix this. You're the moderator, right? Okay, this is how it's going to be done from now on. You know what happens to that pastor? It becomes very painful within a very short period of time. Why? Because you don't stop and look. You don't find the history. You don't look to see how things have been done or why. Who may have been hurt or who we're trying to heal by doing something a different way. By being gracious. By looking at the situation and seeing, oh, wait a second. I might need to do this differently here. We have a tendency to not be compassionate because we know how it should be done, don't we? Anybody here ever been hurt by good intentions? Right? Do we stop to think about that, or do we just think about the hurt? Every husband and wife knows how this goes. Every parent definitely knows how it goes. You do the best you can to raise them up, right? Any parents here make any mistakes? Any parents here not aware of the mistakes that they made? Any parent here ever hear from their teenager, "You're awful! Oh, you just don't let me do nothing!" How many of us have been those teenagers? Do you punish a child for that? Or do you love them through it? Does it pay to start a war with a teenager? Congratulations, my teenagers. Guess who our father is? Anybody here ever start a war with God? You don't like how things are going? Or you take care of it yourself? How'd that work for you? Or fighting with a 2-year-old? Both the same. Imagine how compassionate our Father is when it comes to the way we behave. Any parent that's ever watched two siblings fight, right? You just want them to love one another, to play nice with one another, share the toy. Right, girls? Share the toys. Do you guys ever get up and go, "But I wanted to wear that shirt today"? I can't imagine that would happen. Either of you ever tattle? "Mom!" And then the other one says, "But she did," right? Do you see your mom's hair? Do you see how pretty it is? She will look like Pastor Bert within 2 years if you're not careful. We just want each other to love one another. And our God tells us that again and again. To look past the faults. To love even your enemy. Now, we don't usually think of family as enemy, do we? Or do we think of them as enemies, but we just pretty it up a little bit? Right? Who here has that one sibling in the family that's just mean and nasty? If you're not raising your hand and there's more than one child, right? But we do it with love. I only want him to behave. If he just understands. If they just do it my way. And what does God tell us to do it? His way. Oh! I can remember my father telling me over and over and over again, just do it my way. He was right. Life would have been a lot easier if I had just done it his way. Nothing like experience and knowledge to outwit the strong and the young, right? Here's the interesting part about it. How many people here think they need little kids around? How many people here feel better when little kids are running around and having fun? Hard not to laugh at them, right? Feel young again? Remember back and feel sorry for that poor parent that's trying to catch the child? You don't stop to think about the symbiotic relationship we have in a church. I need those people I don't like. I need the people who are childish. I need friends. But I also need those enemies. Because guess what? Those people who don't care for what I'm doing stop me in my tracks and make me have to look at what I'm doing. Why am I doing it? How am I doing it? Is it out of love and compassion? Or is it because I want them to do it my way? You ever watch a child learn? I've got one that I'm fairly certain I need to buy a hospital for now. Because there's that one spot on the wall that he's always going to run into. And may never learn. I can try to help. Right? Pad the wall. Yell at him. Will yelling and screaming help? But I should love him through it. I still got to pick him up and brush him off every time he hits that part of the wall, don't I? You ever thought about that in church? You don't want to think about those who we don't get mad in church, right? So there's nobody that we dislike. But there are those that rub us the wrong way. There are those that, I had to choose whether to be around this one or that one. I'm going to choose. We soften it up and we make it nice. I'm challenging you today to even look at how you talk about people. To think about how you deal with folks. To sit and look at your language and wonder whether you're softening it up a little bit just to make yourself feel better, or whether you're using that as a reflection to help you grow. See, because God puts all these people together as little mirrors. I'm not here to judge what you're doing. I'm here to love you through it. You may have it right. I may be wrong. I got to look at the mirror and see how this works. Or maybe my path is so different from your path that if you did it my way, you'd end up in trouble. Right? I'm hoping nobody has walked the same path I've walked. It wasn't a pleasant path in parts. But I'm going to guess, Lori, that everything hasn't always been pleasant in your world. Anybody here have just a pleasant life and there's never been any bumps in the road? Times they wish they could erase? But you made the decisions you've made based on what you had. And God walked with you the entire way. And you need the family, whether you're happy with them or not, to help you. Sometimes that irritation is to get us up off our backsides, isn't it? Anybody here ever done something because they're just completely frustrated with how it's being done? Or that it's not being done? Anybody? Don't like the sermon this morning, Lord? Everybody's windows closed? Hope so. We do things and we don't think about why we do them sometimes. We react, we soften it up, we try to make sure that we look good. I'm here to tell you, looking good is overrated. In fact, looking good is another way of saying what? There's little white ones, and then there's the big ones, right? It's okay to tell the little white ones. We've all done it, right? How's this look? Oh, you look fine. It's okay to tell the little white ones, is it? Because if you tell enough little white ones, and you get in the habit of telling the little white ones, you start painting a picture and believing it. This looks fine. I'm in perfect health. I'm doing great. Oh. Now, I'm not saying go out and go, oh my God, you wore that? But at the same point, there's no reason to destroy her if you don't like what she's wearing. There's no reason in a house full of toys to have to fight over the one doll, is there? I know how this works. I watch it every day. Oh, and you think I'm talking to the two girls, right? Because we don't do that. Nobody here hides their favorite candy in the house. Oh, it happens more than just me. I'm glad to hear that. How we deal with our family and how honest we are with ourselves and with others is important. Because people see whether we pretty it up or not. When the children come up and tattle, we know what's going on, don't we? When a child starts to lie to you, you know what's happening. Did you eat the cookie? And they're covered in chocolate? Nobody's ever had that scenario, right? But it happens on such a grand scale as we get older. We learn to soften it up. We learn to tell the little white ones. And we stop being honest. It makes it harder to love. Because we start looking in the mirror and seeing our little white ones as being real. I get in the mirror. Ooh. Yep. I'm seeing a bodybuilder. I don't know what you guys are seeing. Right? If we don't stop and look at what we're doing, we become inconsequential to the real world. I have seen it time and time again where somebody who truly needs help, who truly needs the family of God, is afraid to even come and sit in the pew. Just look at him. This has it all together. She's got the car I want. It's a perfect life. And she's got this religion thing down. I mean, she's here every Sunday. I couldn't be here every Sunday if I wanted to. I'm a mess. If you're in that boat, if you're the mess, do you know how hard it is to come into 100 people that have it all together? Right? And none of us feels like we have it all together, do we? But Judy, if I'm coming to your house this afternoon, I'll be there at 12:30. Now, if she doesn't already have the house completely spotless, which is probably the case, she's going to go home and make sure everything's in place, it's all dusted, and there's a plate of cookies sitting. Right? Why? Because we have to look good. We've been taught we have to look good. God looks down and sees the real thing, right? He still has compassion. Still loves us. Doesn't care if we came in holy jeans or if we're decked out in a three-piece suit and could buy the church. Doesn't matter. So why does it matter to us? Why are we so quick to condemn, toy with, tattle on, and hurt our brothers and sisters? And again, I'll tell you, because I see some of your faces going, well, we wouldn't do that. No, we wouldn't do that. But we do it all the time. By how we do and say things. We have to be honest and come to a different place. To be able to forgive all those hurts. And that's not easy to do, is it? Anybody here have? No, don't raise your hands. I really don't want to put anybody in that position. But sometimes we come from families that just aren't nice. Sometimes we come from situations that are horrible. Tony and I, she talked about that camp. I have not cried or been so depressed as the day we have to give those children back. Knowing what we have to send them back to. But for a week, we have to show them love 24/7. Show them that the whole world is not like that. Imagine what would happen if we took that opportunity here. If each one of us looked at the next person with compassion and love and said, your life is not perfect, and I know that, and I'm going to look past the things you're doing that irritate me. And I have a trick for you to make that happen. Okay? Because we're so busy looking at how good we are. I just recently saw a comedian do this, and Brent was going to look at me and go, you're going to tell us again? Yes, I am. The guy was talking about being in a part of town, living in a part of town that wasn't a great area, and wasn't his ethnicity. He happened to be a white guy. And he was living in an area that was dangerous for a white guy to live in. He said, sometimes I'm out on the street, and I'm the only white guy. And it's really dangerous, but I have a magic trick that I do. Magic trick? Yeah, I'm white, but I can get whiter. Let's watch. Typical white guy. Whiter. Now I say that not just to have fun, but imagine if you took those most ridiculous moments of your life and actually looked at them and used them. Because you know what? This works for road rage. I've learned it. And this guy made a point, this comedian did. He said, nobody shoots. You feel sorry for him. Who here feels awful white right now? And it's not to be racist, folks. That's to say we need to look at ourselves honestly. I act like this more often than I want to admit. I act like my 2-year-old more often than I want to admit. Ask my wife. And if I can remember that and see myself for what I am, then it's much easier to look on you and be compassionate. To realize that life isn't always fair, but I can show you love. See, the interesting part about camp when we did it was we didn't tell them no. We didn't look at them and put down a ton of rules saying you can't, you won't. If they didn't want to eat something, okay, then you sit and you talk with them. You'd walk with them. Now, there were a lot of rules in place for the ones that were left outside of it. The ones leaving it, oh my goodness, we spent, 2 weeks doing trainings and that every year? Well, how do you do this? How do you act? What do you say? How do you let them do what they're going to do? and not go completely nuts? Who here has a problem with people chewing with their mouth wide open? Can't tell them no. I can suggest it always look a lot better for you than when you chew that gum in church. And that's usually what we got from them. But here's the thing. In a world that's constantly telling everybody no, constantly telling them how awful they are, there's nobody in this room that I need to recount all of their sins to, is there? Anybody here need me to help you figure out what your faults are? Do you need anything else? Anybody else to show you how awful the things are that you did? You got your laundry list and you go through it regularly, don't you? But boy, wouldn't it be nice to have somebody walk up and just tell you something nice about yourself? Anybody here able to tell the person next to them something nice about themselves? Husbands and wives, I know you've been together a long time, but I know you can do it. This revenge thing is important. Giving it up is more important. And to remember that God sees and still loves us, forgives us, knows every one of those things on your laundry list. It doesn't look at you and go, well, I might help. Put a silver cup in her sack. Throw her in prison. Let her hurt for a while. But instead, walks with us through every trial, regardless of what we've done. Today, folks, I challenge you. Be honest with yourself. Learn to see yourselves for who you are and love the people around you. Allow somebody else to see and not worry about what they're going to think. Does it matter if Carrie thinks it's funny or not? No. Does it matter to me whether Glenn likes what I'm wearing today? No. Is it going to matter to the world 5 minutes from now? No. And yet, we'll dwell on whether or not Carrie thinks I'm funny, whether or not Glenn thinks I'm cute. I thought about that all weekend, by the way. And yet we won't think twice about looking at our brother or sister and telling them how they're doing it wrong. Won't even get our leader and asking you to do what Jesus did. Turn things up ahead. Put away the fun years and love them. Friend or enemy. Amen.